When I was 7 years old and my sister was just 5, we were playing on top of our bunk beds. I was 2 years older than my sister at the time. I mean, I'm 2 years older than her now, but at the time it meant she had to do everything that I wanted to do. And I wanted to play war. So we were on top of our bunk beds, and on one side of the bunk beds were all my G.I. Joe soldiers and weaponry. And on the other side were my sister's My Little Ponies, ready for a cavalry charge. There are differing accounts of what actually happened that afternoon, and since my sister is not here with us today, let me tell you the true story. We believe that to be more successful, we'll be happier. Psychologist Sean Aker tells us otherwise. He explains that happiness is what brings out success, with a little secret. The Happy Secret to Better Work by Sean Aker. My sister's a little on the clumsy side, and somehow, without any help or push from her older brother at all, Amy disappeared off the side of the bunk bed and landed with this crash on the floor. I nervously peered over the side of the bed to see what had befallen my fallen sister, and saw that she had landed painfully on all fours on the ground. I was nervous because my parents had charged me with making sure that we played as safely as possible. And seeing as how I had broken Amy's arm just the week before, heroically pushing her out of the way of an imaginary sniper bullet, for which I have yet to be thanked, I was trying as hard as I could. She didn't even see it coming. And I saw my sister's face, this wail of pain and suffering threatening to erupt from her mouth and wake my parents from the long winter's nap for which they had settled. So what did I do? I did the only thing my frantic 7-year-old brain could think of to avert this tragedy. I said, Amy, wait, did you see how you landed? No human lands on all fours like that. Amy, I think this means you're a unicorn. Now, that was cheating, because there was nothing she could want more than to be Amy, the hurt 5-year-old sister, but Amy, the special unicorn. And with that, instead of crying or ceasing our play, instead of waking my parents, a smile spread across her face, and she scrambled back up on top with all the grace of a baby unicorn, with one broken leg. What we had stumbled upon at this tender age of just 5 and 7, we had no idea at the time. We had stumbled upon something known as positive psychology, which is the reason that I wake up every morning. Positive psychology posits that if we study what's merely average, we'll remain merely average. On the news, the majority of the information is not positive. It's negative. Most of it's about murder, corruption, and disease, and very quickly my brain starts to think that that's the accurate ratio of negative to positive in the world. This creates something known as the medical school syndrome. During the first year of medical training, as you read through a list of all the symptoms and diseases, suddenly you realize you have all of them. I have a brother-in-law named Bobo, which is a whole other story. Bobo married Amy the unicorn. Bobo called me on the phone and said, Sean, I have leprosy, which even at Yale is extraordinarily rare. We've come to find that it's not reality that shapes us, but the lens through which you view the world that shapes your reality. Oh.
Move away from this lens.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I applied to Harvard on a dare. I didn't expect to get in. But when I got a military scholarship, something that wasn't even a possibility became a reality. I assumed everyone there would see it as a privilege as well. But what I found after I graduated and then spent the next 8 years living in the dorms with the students, Harvard asked me to, I wasn't that guy. I found that these students, no matter how happy they were with their original success, later they were focused not on the privilege of being there, but on the competition and the workload and stresses. I was an officer to counsel the students through the difficult 4 years. And after that, I was surprised at how these students were feeling. But we found that there are ways that you can actually rewire your brain, allowing you to work more positively and more optimistically. In just a 2-minute span of time, done over 21 days in a row, we can actually rewire your brain. I've done this with every company that I've worked with, getting them to write down 3 new things each day. And at the end of that, they start to retain a pattern of not scanning the world for the negative, but for the positive first. We get people, when they open up their inbox, to write one positive thing to one person in their support network. And by doing so, we not only create ripples of positivity, but a real revolution.